Well, before I pass it back to our wonderful host tonight, Adina Goriță, a Romanian journalist, it is our privilege to spend a couple of minutes and show you a video clip with the message of somebody who is very, very dear to us at the Aspen Institute and who would have liked to be here, but unfortunately professional obligations kept him away. Paul Anderson is the first ever president of the Aspen International Committee and somebody who was instrumental in the creation of Aspen Institute more than 10 years ago. So the clip, please. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Paul Anderson, a trustee of the Aspen Institute in the U.S. and a past chairman of Aspen's International Committee. I'd like to tell you a couple of stories about the formation of Aspen Romania and why it has been such an important member of the Aspen family and a contributor to the country over the last 10 years. 11 or 12 years ago, Aspen decided that it needed an international committee to oversee its activities outside the U.S. I was asked to chair that committee, and as we set about our work, we discovered that an important issue we had to deal with was a proposal to establish a new Aspen affiliate or partner in Romania. This proposal had been put forward by a gentleman named Mircea Joana. Some of you know Mircea, and you will recognize that he's a fairly persuasive and persistent individual. So we knew that we were going to have to deal with this proposal. As we started to work on the proposal, however, we discovered that while there were already a few Aspen affiliates around the world, we really didn't have any protocol for what an Aspen affiliate was. How should it be organized? What should its programs be? How should it be governed, and so on. We also discovered that we had no criteria to make a decision on whether a proposal to create a new Aspen made sense or not. And finally, we had no process to follow in moving from a proposal, as Mircea had brought to us, to a decision. We felt at the time that there was a likelihood that we would be expanding the global network of Aspen, and so we felt that we needed to deal with these issues. So working very closely with Mircea and his colleagues over a period of several months, we addressed these issues. We came up with a definition of what an Aspen affiliate looked like, what it did, how it was organized, how it was governed. We established a set of criteria for deciding on the creation of new Aspens, and we established a process to move this kind of proposal forward. The result was not only that we approved the proposal to establish Aspen Romania, but that we established the framework or the protocol, if you will, to be used for future Aspens. Since the creation of Aspen Romania 10 years ago, the Aspen network has doubled in size. We've added new affiliates in Spain, in Mexico, in Prague, and in Kiev, and we expect we will add more in the not too distant future. The model that we have used in every one of these cases is the model that we developed with Romania, with Mircea and his colleagues 10 years ago. That model has stood the test of time and it has served Aspen very well. So that's the role of Aspen Romania in the development of the network. Now a couple of stories about why Aspen Romania was important. In the course of going through this process, several of my fellow trustees raised questions about why Romania. Romania was a small country somewhere in Eastern Europe. It wasn't very well known, and my colleagues were questioning why we wanted to have an Aspen presence in this part of the world. To help address this issue, I made a couple of trips to Bucharest. And in these visits, I met with a number of people, with business executives, with journalists, with academics, with government representatives. And in virtually every one of these discussions, the question came up of, well, what is the Aspen Institute? Who are you people? What do you do? So in response, I gave my standard 2-minute elevator speech, which talked about the development of values-based leaders and leadership principles, the use of facilitated dialogue to engage discussions on important issues in the society. And almost invariably, after I answered this question, the comment came back, wow, if we had something like this in Romania today, it could make a real contribution to the development of civil society here. Most of you will remember what the situation was like in Romania 10 or 12 years ago, and will probably understand this comment. So I had an answer to my question of why Romania. I shared this with my colleagues in the US. The decision to approve Aspen Romania passed easily, and we were launched. One final anecdote. I was privileged to attend the opening session of Aspen Romania here in Bucharest 10 years ago. I was sitting in a large conference room, I think in some hotel, and up on the stage there were three gentlemen. I didn't know any of them. I knew they were all politicians. I had been told that their relations were not necessarily the most cordial. And the gentleman sitting next to me, when he learned that I was from Aspen in the US, came back with the normal question, well, what is the Aspen Institute? I gave him my elevator speech answer, and his response was, well, any organization that can get these three guys on the same stage at the same time, all saying good things about it, must be important and it must be impressive. So that's a few vignettes on the history of Aspen Romania. Over the last 10 years, Aspen Romania has made some really valuable contributions, both to the formation and the development of the Aspen Global Network, and also, I think, importantly, to the evolution of civil society in Romania. So I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate Mircea and all of our friends and colleagues in Romania on what they have accomplished and the contributions they've made in these 10 years, and to thank you all for being part of the Aspen family.